Welcome back to Morning Glory. It's 8:32. We are here, of course, until 10 o'clock. Morning, Mike. Sir Keir Starmer says that we should welcome the migrants. They are fleeing war and persecution. He also says that he will smash the gangs as these people are making millions out of human misery. Rodders could smash the gangs immediately if he just let the migrants get on the ferries in France. Do you think he's thought of this one? Says Ken in Derby. Yeah. And Sharon says, I think if Rishi was in power, our country would be in a far better place. Let's talk to Robert Bates, Research Director at the Centre for Migration Control, because we've got the news, of course, from Wednesday that nearly 900 people came over on small boats, and more migrant hotel processes are being planned every single weekday for the weekend coming up, whether it's Epping Forest and, of course, the Bell Hotel, which they want to close down, whether it is the hotel that's up in Altrincham in Manchester, whether it's the hotel in Aldershot, whether it's the hotel in Hoylake up near Merseyside, whether it's the hotel in Norwich, whether it's the hotel in Diss. You know, there's so many of them all over the place. But just before we talk to Robert, have a look at this. These are migrants protesting against migrants in Canary Wharf.
Everybody's an immigrant here, including myself. I'm from Hungary as well. And it's not anti-immigrants, it's just anti-people that we don't know who they are, you know?
I'm a migrant. I came here in 1961 legally, and I'm very, very grateful for what this country has given me and my family.
I feel like us coming from another country, moving here legally, we contribute so much with our hard working, and we love this country so much. We share the same feelings as the local people. We want to stand out and show this is not a far-right activities. We are migrants. We feel everyone here. We feel the pain of the country.
I mean, that pretty much tells you how bad the situation is. Robert, very good morning to you.
Morning, Mike. Thanks for having me.
25,000 plus have now crossed in this year alone. You just saw very, very hard-working immigrants there saying, we don't want these people here, so proving the point, really, that Keir Starmer's wrong when he says things like, you know, oh, far-right thugs are trying to put up racist barriers to people coming here from war-torn countries. That's not what's going on.
Not at all. And I think this is basically an issue of common sense and of public safety. And I think those communities that have suddenly found themselves with a couple of hundred blokes dumped on their doorstep overnight, having not been forewarned, because the Home Office is very heavy-handed in effectively just dropping these individuals overnight in the dead of night, people waking up and seeing their town centres transformed. But we know from statistics that the Sun managed to unearth that a very large number of individuals that are being put in hotels across the country are being hauled in front of magistrates and the courts for things such as GBH, robbery, and sexual assault. So there's a very real risk here. And these are individuals, of course, whom we haven't been able to do background checks on because we don't know who we are. We don't know where they've come from. We don't know what their relationship with the law was like, perhaps in their country of origin. And I think we're going to have to, in a couple of years' time, have to have a national inquiry as to why the Conservative government, when this crisis first broke out, thought that rather than investing in detention facilities so that these people could be detained and deported swiftly, decided to scatter them around the country and inflict misery on people that live next door to these hotels.
Exactly right. But they've now reached kind of peak problem, haven't they? Because we saw from Waterlooville during the week, where down in Hampshire, near Portsmouth, lots of ordinary local people came out absolutely in high dudgeon because they'd found out that there was a plan to move a load of migrants into a sort of block of flats, which had just been produced newly, a new build block of flats, £250,000 each was the cost of them, and it was going to be taken over for migrants. And they said, no, we don't want them here. And so Starmer's got a massive problem now, because if, as in Epping, you've got people out there demonstrating, saying, shut the Bell Hotel down, move the migrants out of our area, put them somewhere else, where's he going to put all these people?
Well, that's it, and we are seeing an increasing effort to move individuals into HMOs. I think the government thinks that the British public have a problem with these individuals being put up with hotels because of the hotels. No, the problem is these individuals coming into the country, being put in communities, and then placing strain on our public services. We have 1.3 million people currently on a social housing waiting list in this country. In some areas of the country, people will have to wait a decade before they get full-time accommodation. Yet those individuals that have broken into our country are put expedited onto this stream where they get given long-term accommodation. If you look at places like Sandwell, where there's a 17,000 waiting list for British people, but 1,300 people have been found accommodation overnight. I think it's an awful state of affairs. And then you consider the strain that's being put on public services. GPs, these individuals are given, in many cases, fast-track GP surgeries. Most ordinary people have to wake up 8 o'clock in the morning, they're on the phones to the GPs, and even then they're not guaranteed an appointment. So there's an incredible two-tier system that's emerging before us as a result of this crisis.
Yeah, exactly right. And there's going to be a load of demonstrations going on this weekend, as I said, which is going to ratchet up the tension even more. And it's not going to be long before one of those particular protests turns nasty, is it?
No, well, I think when you look at what's happening with the counter-protests, who are sort of being heralded there in quite a provocative manner, these are people, I mean, a lot of these local protests are people that live in the community and are concerned, but then you have these kind of out-of-towners coming up from London for a bit of a jolly to wave their flags and to shout at local people with ordinary concerns. I mean, it's quite a provocative thing. If you were worried about your children as a parent and suddenly you have some sort of snaggle-toothed undergraduate from a London university coming up and telling you that you're a far-right bigot, it's pretty triggering. It's something that I feel people would feel rightly aggrieved about. So I think what we really need to do is recognise that actually these are ordinary people. Any tensions, hopefully there aren't any that flare up as per last year, but are likely the result of actually these counter-protests who are frankly getting in there to try and get their kicks and to wind up ordinary people.
Yeah, exactly right. Listen, Robert, we've got to run because we're a bit short of time, but thank you very much indeed. Robert Bates, Research Director at Centre for Migration Control. What's happened to the one-in, one-out plan, says Rob? I'm sure Starmer would be shouting out if it was working, but like all things Starmer, I doubt it is. I think that's the problem. Let's get a voice note from Fran.
Hi, Mike. It's Fran from County Down, Northern Ireland. I was just listening to your interview there with John Rentoul from The Independent, and I came in halfway through, but my big impression of him was just, and all of them like him are just sticking their finger. You're trying to tell them what's going on, what people are saying to you, and they're just sticking their fingers in their ears like 7-year-olds and going, la, 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 I'm not listening to you, la, 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 I don't want to listen. It's just crazy. They're just burying their head in the sands when all the evidence is telling them that this country is going to the dogs, and they just don't want to know.
I know. It's incredible, isn't it? Amazing. I'm going to talk to Yaakov Amidror in a moment, Israel's former National Security Advisor Benjamin Netanyahu. A couple more boy band names for you, though. This from Paul. This is great. How about Dexy's Midnight Dinghies? That's a good one. Hootie and the Blowhards, says Justin. That's very good. Shows a lot of knowledge of music. And how about this one? I think could be one of my favourites. Rob, Jerry and the Toolmakers. Fantastic.